Hey guys, this is Udit. So today, this video is continuation of the previous video, where we will discuss basically how to write step by step a semantic, basic steps we have to keep in mind before writing a semantic HTML. Which means that before writing a semantic HTML, what steps we have to take so that after completion of our code, the code is 100% semantic and it is this thing. So first and the foremost important is the HTML tag, which is the root of the element. An analogy of it is like it's an entire book. Head is like the header, it is like the contents. Body is like it contains all the chapters. Header is like the front cover or the title page, which is for a particular body. And then comes the nav. Nav is basically the table of contents, which contains the A and the other things. So the main is basically into body, and it is actually only one in a body, and then is the footer. So very similar to what we discussed in the last video, that there should be a so when we go to, this is a React project, so in index.html there is a head, there is a doc type, there is a head. We will discuss everything in detail, what is the meaning of doc type, why we use language in, and everything in the next video. Here we will only be discussing the semantic tag. So this is head and this is body. In the body we see that we are enabling this script root id, and here when we go into root id, it will go to our code, which is app.tsx, and here it will contain all the code. So first is the head is basically this is basically a React thing, so which is like it will be removed when we will put it into the main code. It is an empty braces. This is for one parent for all the child. So head, and head is for the this is for the title of the blog. This is the head, then is the body, and then will be the footer. So after head there is the footer. In the head there is body, and in the body when we see this is body, and in the body there is header, there is main, and there is a side, and there is footer. So it is like that only. So like we discussed, so there will be, and there is also nav also. So nav could be in the body, nav is in the body only. So when we go to the structure, so this is how it is. Like first is the HTML tag, which we look in the different page, then is the head, then is the body. In the body, inside body we have header, there is nav, there is main, and there is footer. So the action step, like the first step while writing, is that when starting a new page, immediately structure the document using body, header, nav, main, and footer. So what will be in our body? So body is the content which is visible on the web page. It will have the header, it will have the navigation link if we have the navigation link. The main section contains the main part of the this thing. It will be comprised of articles and sections, and there is the footer. Footer will be like all the links and the bottom page, like any page which we open. So like suppose we open Amazon, so suppose we open this page only, so or maybe Amazon. So this is the footer page. So this black part is the footer page, this is the main. So when we go and see how the Amazon page is there, so when we go and go to the inspect element and when we see the code, then it will give a great idea of how the code is. So see the body, there is a head, there is a body. So there is a head and there is a body. So like we do in the bodies, let's see what all things are there. So there is a div which contains all the script. So let's close it. So there is all the div, and there is a script and body. So when we will open the div, we will see what all things are there. So there is scripts for all those things. So there is a div.set. So it is not as semantic as possible, but still it contains lot of good information which we can use in our code. So you can go and see the good websites, and you will be able to understand. So this is basically footer. I wanted to explain what is a footer. I wanted to show how you can go and see the websites and learn from there. This is the aside thing. So when we go and inspect it, so see this is a span, this is a declarative. So this is a declarative. So, 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 this is a dec Yeah, so see, this is basically the description of this thing. So this must be into an aside, but it has, they have put into this thing. But if they would have put into, you know, a different tag which is like similar to, you know, this thing, like aside tag, it would have been, you know, a better, and you know, but it could be like, you know, I am not able to find the exact this thing, or for they have used some framework and it is not coming it, you know, in a right way. But let's see our code. So when we go and do an inspect, where we able to see all our, you know, elements, semantic elements or not. So let's see, we can go and see our semantic elements into main. See, there is an aside. So in React I'm able to see all my semantic elements correctly, and so this is an aside. So when we go to aside, it should be highlighting it. Yeah, it is highlighting it. We have to, you know, use CSS to place it on the side. So that's how it is. And let's go to the other steps to write. So the first step is, before starting the page, decide what will be in our body, in the header, in the nav. This is, I mean, in the body, inside body there is a header, there is a nav, there is a main, and there is a footer, which we discussed here. Inside the body only. Header, let's, no, header will be, is not that complex, but the main thing is our body. So that's how it is. Structure the main content with sectioning the element. Inside the main area, break in the content into thematic or self-contained unit. So self-contained unit or thematic means around one idea. So there are two ways to do it. One is the article, other is the section. Article is if the idea is, I mean, clear cut, means it is, you know, a different article, or it is based on a central idea or a single idea. We can use an article tag. We can use a article tag. So this is the section we have used, and this is the article we have used. So inside the section also we can use other, I mean, outside also we can use. So here I have used other, inside it. So article is that thing. So this is the thing. And section use the thematic grouping for content that fit into more specific tags. So it is like when the content is not very clear, and in that case we have to use a header into it. Section should always have a heading to define its theme. So it should always have a header into it. Like here in the section we have the H2 latest post. So it should have a header, otherwise that is the reason of using it, that it should have a header. And there is a aside is basically used for ads and other things, which is basically put, sketch out the page design and level each content block as an article, section, aside before coding it. So after deciding what will be in the body, let's do what is in the main. And in the main it is comprised of three things: article, section, and body. So what will be in the article, what will be in the section, and what will be in the aside. And this is the core logic of how we should do it. Let me re-study it again. Use this content that is complete, meaningful, and on its own. So that will be in the article. Section, when we have to give its meaning and using a header tag, h1, h2. H2. H1 will be like, you know, it will be in the only one in the whole page. So this thing. And aside will be like in the this thing. So this is the thing. Headings are most crucial part of the creating a clear outline document, and it will be h1. It should be describe the primary topic for entire page. Yeah, so h1 will be for per page, one per page, and should describe the primary topic of the entire page. And the rule 2 is it should be in the sequential order. Like h1, it should not be like after h1 there is h3 and then there is h2. So if you see there, so when we see now this thing, so there is h1 here, there is h2 after that, and there is h3. And when we see the semantic, it is in the body, and in the body h1 is first, then h2 and h3. It shouldn't be that h3 is earlier than h2 or something like that. So it's like that. Context is also the same. The heading level indicates its importance relative to the content. Like higher the heading, h1 is the highest, h6 is the lowest. So higher the heading, the highest is the content importance. Read your content aloud, confirm that your heading, create a logical nested table of content. So this is how it is. that read your content aloud and confirm that your heading create a logical nested table of content. So the thing is that after doing this thing, we have to decide the heading. After in the main page, after in the main content, we have to decide h1, h2 and h3 for each of our heading. That's it. And then the next thing come, which is b is for, I mean, these are the until these three steps when you are done, when we do, I mean, our the whole structure of our page is ready. And then comes b is for bold or importance, strong for emphasis, br for breaking the tag, so that is also important, div is also important. And the thing is, avoid overuse of generic and div and span. That is the core idea of using semantic, that we don't have to use div and span. That is why we are using main, article and section and aside. So they all five are for the do the same thing, but but for the semantic reasons, or I mean for the writing better code, we are using it, or not just for better code but for other reasons like SEO, browse, uh, accessibility and 100 reasons which I gave in the previous thing. So before writing a div, ask yourself, is there a element in HTML5 that better describes that content is. So that is also actionable step. So guys, these were the steps which we have to follow, and these are very simple steps. If you want, I can tell what steps are. The first step is that we have to decide what will be into our main page. Then we have to decide like what will be into our page, and then we have to decide what will go into our body will be into three things, which will be header, main and footer. In the header, what content we have to put, we have to see. The main will be comprised of two things, articles and sections and aside, that we have to keep in mind. And footer we have to keep in mind. Bold things we have to use bold, italics emphasize we have to, based on thing we have to see. And then we have to see one more important thing, italic emphasized, and there is other important thing underlined, but it is not used now. And so it's like that only, guys. So it is that simple, and if you go through this, it will be even more easier to follow, and hopefully you will be able to understand all these things. And please like, share, subscribe this video. I will also put a post for this thing, and it will be very helpful. Thanks a lot. Thank you.